From FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio, this is The Odds Couple on GrindCityMedia.com. Handicapping all the football action, here's Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Hello, good people. Welcome to The Odds Couple. We are underway with SEC football. We'll look back a little bit on last week. We'll look at the action coming up this weekend. The Memphis Tigers are back in action this weekend as well. We'll talk about their matchup with SMU and some NFL action coming up this weekend as well. It's all ahead here on The Odds Couple. Lang Whitaker.
Hey.
How are you, sir?
I'm hanging in there.
Good.
Just like the Georgia Bulldogs.
Man, that was ugly. We'll talk about that in a moment. John Roser in the house as well. Hello, Roser.
Sup?
Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you,
CJ Hurt here as well. Hello, CJ.
How's it going, fellas? How's it going?
Good to see you as well. We are underway with SEC football. It's certain. I love week one. I love after week one because it is the greatest overreaction couple of days that you could possibly have. So what did you learn? What are we overreacting
First
about?
of all, let's throw this. Forget the SEC. Let's throw out the top 25 rankings. Can we do that? Because I mean, there's some weird things in here. I was just looking at it today, and I was thinking. I saw somebody say something about number 22 BYU, and I was like, 2-0. 23 is Michigan. They haven't played a game.
Number
20. Yeah. Number 19 Wisconsin, also 0-0. Do you really think Oklahoma is? They're 1-1. Okay.
And the Memphis Tigers keep dropping.
Is Oklahoma worse than UNC? Because they're like 7 spots below them. I mean, I know they lost, but so I think we let's forget the rankings this year.
Rankings are a little silly this year.
With these conferences that haven't even started yet, like it's all crazy, and we can't really count.
A preseason ranking's fine, and then once season starts, you kind of get into the mix and everything. But when you have a preseason ranking, when a conference isn't going to start for another month,
and I know you love your rankings.
Silly. No, I love my rankings.
Yes, the fish scales,
which are based on what you've achieved. Which now a lot of teams haven't achieved squat, so they would. Fish scales are really the best rankings in America.
Something else I learned, I would say, was just watching some of these teams. They struggled. A lot of them struggled in the first half of these games. Georgia had 11 penalties for 98 yards in the first half against Arkansas. Like there was a lot of rust out there on these fields. You could tell from a lot of these teams, not just Georgia. And I think as it goes along, we're going to see a little bit smoother play. I think.
Yeah. Roser, what'd you learn?
2 things. One in college, one in the NFL. Miles Brennan is not Joe Burrow, and
Joe Burrow is not.
And Monday Night Football confirmed everything I have always said and continue to think about Lamar Jackson. Take away the run, and that dude ain't that good of a passer. He was throwing the ball in front of guys, behind guys. They took away the run because they got up so much, and so they had to just start throwing the ball. Yeah. And that dude threw for 97 yards.
Yeah.
When you have to throw the ball.
Yards,
like, dude,
Chiefs were really good on both sides of the ball.
It is Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson, and then there is a drop-off.
Yeah. I learned a few things. One, it looks like Florida State's the new broken ATM.
Yeah.
I mean, what a disaster that season has gotten off to.
They're what? They're favored by, 27 this week?
Yeah.
Against who? Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State.
I know Jacksonville State is whatever. They're like a 1AA team or whatever.
Yeah. They weren't even in
Florida State is not beating anybody by 4 touchdowns.
I don't think so.
I don't know. They look terrible on both sides, not just their offense. Like
and
defensively,
it's amazing.
They were a mess.
Yeah. Everyone you hear talk about the Florida State program that has some insight to the Florida State program, they just say the same thing. Nobody cares. The players don't care. They don't care to play for anybody right now, and it's just a complete disaster that Mike Norvell's walked into.
I mean, for years now, but I think we all heard rumors for the last 2-3 months that the players aren't listening to Norvell. What's going on? And now it's coming to fruition.
Unbelievable. A few things that I learned. One, Florida State. The other thing, again, overreaction. Alabama's good. Nobody else is. I mean, I was stunned at LSU's performance, considering Alabama every year they lose guys to the NFL, and all we talk about is, they'll be fine, they'll reload. Yeah. Well, LSU should be able to reload as well, and they looked awful. Georgia's a top 5 team for that first half, looked just uninspiring, awful. Texas A&M was an absolute disaster against Vanderbilt.
Yep.
Auburn, Kentucky was sloppy early. It got a little smoother as the game went on, and Auburn pulled away. But it just, to me, Alabama looked great for the first half, and other than that, nobody really stood out.
What about the
Florida,
Mississippi State Bulldogs?
Florida's offense. Florida's offense looked
but encouraging, I think, for Ole Miss, the way that they were able to score, and Lane pulling out all the tricks, which he'll do, which is great. And then Mississippi State. I mean, Mississippi State looked great, and I've always thought teams like Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Kentucky, you got to be different.
Yeah.
You just don't have the money that the other programs have. You don't have the recruits that the other programs have that you're trying to catch. If you want to get to Atlanta, you've got to be different. Hugh Freeze was great for Ole Miss because they were different. I think Mike Leach is a great hire for Mississippi State. That was crazy what they did. To not have spring practice, to have a weird fall camp, and to come out and execute like they did.
The funny thing,
to set the SEC record for passing
yes!
yards in a game.
I saw a stat today. There's been 12 since 2000. 12 quarterbacks have thrown for 600 yards in a game, and 8 of them were on Mike Leach teams.
Yeah.
He looks like Brian Wilson now of the Beach Boys when he's stepped on the sideline. Like he's been through some stuff. Like he's on he kind of just looks like he doesn't know. Like you can't tell if they're down 4 touchdowns or up 4 touchdowns when you look at him. But those dudes are open, man.
I mean, what was crazy about it is, like, if you told me that Mississippi State was going to have, you told me going into that game, Mississippi State's going to have 4 turnovers. Like, well, they ain't winning. Yeah. They had 4 turnovers and still won the game by double digits.
Still threw for 623.
LSU, like they wouldn't zone them. From everything I've been reading this week, they were like, why did LSU stick man-to-man that whole game? Like they were just getting torn apart. They were missing half their defense. They were missing some of their best corners. Like, do something different. I mean, I would, Mississippi State plays Arkansas this week. Like, that's going to be a bloodbath. I watched that whole Arkansas-Georgia game last week, and Arkansas is not good on either side. So, I mean, I'm big on the over on that Mississippi State-Arkansas game.
And I'm big on State this week as well.
It's only like a 17-point line, right? Yeah.
And the other thing I learned, Tennessee, the former broken ATM team, they have the longest winning streak in the SEC.
They're pretty good.
How about that? It's 7 straight games. Well,
Vols.
Go Vols. SEC, the defending champions of the SEC, defending national champions, LSU Tigers, they lost in their game to Mississippi State, lost at home, and a very disappointing loss for LSU and head coach Ed Orgeron.
I give credit to Coach Leach. He had us team ready to play. They beat us. We have no excuses. And when we don't win, I told the team, put it on me. I got to coach them better. 632 yards, 623 yards passing. Man-to-man coverage. We couldn't stay with the guys. We made too many mistakes. We did not protect the quarterback. When we did protect the quarterback, we were late on some throws. We went right on a couple of reads. Miles did make some good plays. We dropped too many balls. I think our offense woke up in the second half. We ran the ball a little bit better, but just way too many mistakes. And just give credit to Mississippi State. They did a good job. They had a good scheme. The crossing routes really hurt us. I told the team, we're going to find out what we made of. Let's go back to work.
It's like it shocked them.
Them crossing routes really hurt us.
Yeah.
No kidding.
They didn't have their energy coordinator this week.
I guess.
Don't scoff at crossing routes. As a Michigan fan, I've seen the damage they do.
Good news for LSU. They got Vanderbilt this week. Bad news, Vanderbilt played pretty well last week against A&M. LSU's favored by 20.5. LSU's 38-4 straight up following their last 42 losses. Ed Orgeron 9-0 in his last 9 following a loss. Vanderbilt 3-9 against the spread, last 12 at home. Head-to-head, LSU's won 8 straight games by a total of 28 points per game. LSU certainly not in the top 3 of the SEC. If you were to pick your top 3 in the Southeastern Conference after week 1, where are you going?
Got to go Bama 1. I'd go Florida 2. I mean, their defense wasn't as strong as some other teams. I thought Georgia's defense was great. Like, literally, I mean, they were playing against Ballpark Frank, so take that with a grain of salt. And Arkansas, like, they just weren't very inspired on offense. But Georgia's offense was so bad, I don't know if I'd put them in that top 3 right now. I would probably go Bama 1, Florida 2, maybe Mississippi State 3. I mean, if they're going to get that many passing yards every game and put up that many points, there might be a problem.
Yeah, Bama's definitely 1. I'd probably go. I'll say Mississippi State too, because that win was more impressive than Florida's win.
Yeah.
And I would obviously Georgia talent-wise is there, but it is like the quarterback situation. You don't know right now. But talent-wise, Georgia's definitely in the top 3. But I'll say Florida.
Yeah, I'm going Florida 2, Mississippi State 3. So we got the same 3 teams. I think Mississippi State deserves a lot of credit. Again, I don't think LSU's that bad. I mean, they reload with talent. They certainly lost a lot of starters from what they had from their national championship team, but they reload players. They're not going to be bad this year.
Georgia literally gave up 1 play to Franks. It was the touchdown, and that's the only play they gave up the whole game. They had them at the line of scrimmage the whole game. And, they went through quarterbacks the first half trying to figure out what was going on. I think they had 5 points at halftime and then scored 32 in the second half, whatever it was. Like, once they got Bennett in there and kind of got things going, they were fine. But I don't know. We'll see. JT Daniels might be seeing him this week.
Yeah. Well, one of the things to Florida is like what Mississippi State did kind of took away some of the thunder of how good Florida's offense was in that game. Now, Ole Miss has a lot of questions on defense, but I mean, Florida did what they wanted to do, and that tight end, that Pitts kid, I mean, that dude is.
It's the Kyles.
Awesome.
Well, Kyle Trash and Kyle Pitts, the 2 of them were like unstoppable.
Well, and Dan Mullen can do things with offense. And I think what Kyle Trask showed, at least in week 1, is – I mean, I was stunned, I don't know, when we did our first show 2 months ago and we were talking a little bit about the SEC because we had nothing else to talk about. And we were talking about quarterback rankings, and a lot of people had Kyle Trask like in their top 5 in the country, and I thought it was insane. But maybe Dan Mullen, he's a quarterback whisperer.
He is.
He is very, very good with them. And then for Mississippi State, I mean, with Costello back there, that Mitchell kid at wide receiver and Kylan Hill at running back, I mean, dude, he has some real weapons to work with this year.
Absolutely. It'll be fun to watch. It'll be fun this weekend. The Deep South's oldest rivalry as Georgia takes on Auburn. Certainly remember this all the way going back to being played the first weekend in October, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It'll be interesting with Georgia and Auburn this week, 2 teams that came off wins last week. Kirby Smart talking about this week's opponent.
You talk about Georgia-Auburn, you talk about rivalry. They've got a lot of kids from our state. They recruit our state hard. There's a lot of ties between the 2 universities, always has been. It's been a big game. Never, ever remember it being game 2, that's for sure. So that's very unique, and that we'll be playing them pretty early. And, I got a lot of respect for their coordinators, Coach Steele, Chad, both really good. I think what Chad's done for their offense is really shows on tape. His ability to use their skill and get their skill players the ball from different locations. You can see it showing up already, and they've done a great job of that. Got a lot of respect for Gus and the organization he's put together. They've recruited well. They've got really good players, top 10 team in the country. So it should be a great ball game, great atmosphere. Certainly wish we could have 93,000 there, but we won't be able to do that.
Always expect a great atmosphere. Always expect a great game between these 2 teams. And weird things can happen, but it's a weird year that, I don't know, I guess the best team wins. And at this point, I guess I'm not really sure which team's the best team.
I thought Auburn was a little disappointing. I thaught they were going to be a little more dominant against Kentucky.
First half was miserable, like Georgia.
Yeah, and they pulled away, but that was mostly Kentucky messing up.
Yeah.
Like Auburn didn't really ever separate themselves to me as a team that we could elevate into that top tier of the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't – there was not much I saw from Auburn that I was really, really impressed with.
On either side of the ball.
Neither side of the ball. So, the only thing I think about Georgia and Auburn is I'm just under. I think the under. I mean.
Yeah.
6 of the last 7 have gone under the total with these 2 teams. It's at 44.5. Georgia's won 5 of the last 7. The last 5 Georgia wins, they've outscored Auburn 27-10 on average. Georgia's covered the last 5 at home against Auburn. 6 of the last 7, as I mentioned, have gone under. And maybe one of the weirdest trends this week, Auburn hasn't scored an offensive touchdown after the first quarter at Georgia since 2007.
Wow.
They haven't scored an offensive touchdown after the first quarter in Athens since 2007.
Wait, when was Cam the quarterback?
That one was played at Auburn, I believe.
That was at Jordan Hare, I think.
Oh, okay, that's why.
Yeah.
And he really wanted to show it up because Georgia recruited him as a tight end.
Right.
Thanks, Mark Riggs.
Well, because they probably had 3 quarterbacks and picked the wrong one.
Yeah, I guess both years the games were at Auburn because Auburn's been in, 2 national championships. They had the Nick Marshall year, too, where they went to the national title.
I mean, that was I think Georgia probably picked Joe Cox or Joe Tarashinsky the third. I mean, look, my friends and I were calling for those guys on Saturday when Dwan Mathis and Stetson Bennett weren't getting it done.
Right.
So.
One other game in the SEC, Ole Miss at Kentucky. Kentucky 6.5-point favorite, total at 61.5. Ole Miss 2-11-1 their last 14 as an underdog. Kentucky's covered 7 of their last 9 games. Kentucky, one of my favorite trends of the week. Kentucky's won the second game of the year in 21 of the last 22 years. How about that? Their only losses when they played Florida in week 2 in 2016.
I was going to say, well, who all have they played in week 2?
Nobody.
Western Carolina State School for the Deaf and Blind.
Yeah.
Ole Miss has won 8 of the last 11 games. Tigers are returning to action this week. The Memphis Tigers will be back finally.
Maybe.
We think at this point. I mean, we're recording this on Wednesday. We expect the Tigers to play Saturday against SMU. Do you expect rust? I mean, team hasn't played in a while here.
I think so. I mean,
a little bit, right?
Yeah, we've seen it from all these SEC teams this week, and I know they played one game, but I would expect to be a little bit of rust because they haven't practiced. They haven't been able to have all the guys on the field at the same time. So,
and SMU has been rolling along.
Yeah, defense. I just want to see what their defense will look like. Are they going to have all the corners healthy for Memphis? Memphis will put points on the board. Yeah. I mean, it's the game against SMU. Both teams are going to score a ton.
Well, the head coach of the Tigers is Ryan Silverfield. He was asked this week if he's concerned about the team being rusty.
We got to treat this game very similar to we did our season opener, right? Things that we can make sure that we got to handle, right? We have to own the football. I think anytime you go that long without playing a game, it's right. Can we own the football? Can the quarterback make smart decisions not to throw the ball into the opponent's hands? Can our running backs and anybody that touches the ball not fumble? Can our defense go and try to get takeaways? Special teams, we really have to be fundamentally sound. I don't think we're going to be crazy in all 3 phases. I think that's how you try to knock the rust off, by playing fundamentally sound, Mike. And is in the back of my mind, sure, but we're treating this almost like you're exactly right. 28 days without playing a game. That's a heck of a long time. SMU is obviously they're moving on all cylinders. They've got a lot of things going in the right direction. I feel like we'll gain confidence this week as we continue to prepare. Our guys always believe in themselves, and I think by the time we kick that ball off, our focus will be just on what's got to occur between those white lines, and our guys will come to play.
Yeah, SMU hadn't played anybody.
No.
I mean, I know. I liked how he caught himself. He was like, SMU, they're moving on all cylinders.
Tigers have covered their last 2 as a road favorite. Under the total in 4 of their last 5 games, the total is 74.5.
Yeah, the under the total in 4 of the last 5 games is because Vegas makes the number so high. They inflate them a little bit because of how good they have been offensively. 74 is a lot of points.
A whole lot.
That's a lot.
Memphis has won 6 straight against SMU. 5 of those coming by double digits. They're a small 2.5-point favorite.
But last year, these teams combined for what, like 100 points?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a heck of a game with game day, right out of here last week. All right, we will take a break here on The Odds Couple. We'll come back. Lance Taylor's going to join us from Birmingham, get his thoughts on the action coming up this weekend. We'll talk a little NFL as well. It's The Odds Couple here on Grind City Media.
I love the haircut. They tell me you've been getting beat up over it, Zach.
They say I look like I'm 25. I was in somebody said I was in Vegas. They said, "Is that Zion?" I said, "I paid away for little." I said, "That's my little brother."
Tune into GrindCityMedia.com, Grind City Media on YouTube, or on the official Grizzlies mobile app to catch Chris live or download each episode daily, and subscribe at iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud today.
The debate is whether he's a star or a superstar right now, which is what the headline and sort of the tweet suggests. But I'm liking that discussion right now with Ja Morant at point guard.
Tune into GrindCityMedia.com to follow Michael Wallace and Lane Whitaker as they debate the biggest topics in the NBA, the Grizzlies, it's IMH show. Mike and Lane will share their humble opinions on the hottest league water cooler news, providing insight, analysis, and a little heat. Watch and read weekly by visiting GrindCityMedia.com or follow on Twitter at GrindCityMedia today. What's up, Grizzlies fans? I'm Megan Triplett, and I have some exciting news to share. We have a new app. That's right. It's a 3-in-1 experience that you don't want to miss out on. Check this out. The app will keep you up to date on all of the Grizzlies stats and latest news. If you're looking to see what events are going on at FedEx Forum, that can all be found on the app as well. Plus, if you want to see more of me and the rest of the Grind City Media team, like Chris Vernon, Lane Whitaker, and Mike Wallace, there's a section for all that. It is 365 days of content to keep you in touch with all things Grizzlies, FedEx Forum, and GCM. And did I mention you can also purchase and manage tickets on the app? The app does it all. Download it now.
Welcome back to GrindCityMedia.com, live from FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio. Now, here's more of the Odds Couple, Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Hey, don't miss the newest Grind City Media show, Rise and Grind, with Jessica Benson and Megan Triplett. This duo brings a fresh, fun, and energetic double shot of morning vibes to catch you up on the latest in sports, entertainment, pop culture, and everything Memphis, with some completely biased, unfiltered discussions and a side of slightly above-average jokes. Tune in to GrindCityMedia.com, Grind City Media on YouTube, or via the official Grizzlies mobile app to catch Jessica and Megan live, or download each episode daily and subscribe at iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud today. Welcome back to The Odds Couple. Rob Fisher, Lang Whitaker with you. John Roser in the house with us as well. CJ Hurt is here. Lance Taylor going to join us here in a moment. We talked a little bit about Mississippi State and the shocker last week against LSU. This week they got Arkansas, and they're an 18-point favorite. 14-6 against the spread their last 20 games at home. They've won 7 of 8 against Arkansas. 10 of the last 13 have gone over the total. They went over last week against LSU. Head coach Mike Leach afterwards asked about how his debut went, and the debut of KJ Costello as well.
Better than average, I'll tell you that. But this stadium, there's a lot of ghosts in this stadium, and and you play. We played LSU because New England, Green Bay, and the Chiefs had somebody scheduled, so we played these guys. But I'm really proud of our guys. I thought we played real well. I thought we stuck in there during tough times and won the game. The best thing he did after we hit adversity, he responded to it. He does a great job being the same guy every play and can play the next play maybe as good as anybody I've dealt with.
Pretty impressive, and big words there for KJ Costello. Joining us now to talk more about the action coming up this weekend from WJOX in Birmingham, host of the Roundtable, also on Twitter at the Lance Taylor, and you can get his picks at lanceslock.com. Lance Taylor joins us here on The Odds Couple. Hello, Lance.
Good afternoon, fellas. Very exciting week one in the SEC, and the Pirates, just amazing what they were able to do Saturday.
I always believe, Lance, I said it earlier, I think Mississippi State, Ole Miss, teams of that ilk to contend in the SEC West, they've got to be different. They've got to have a niche, and Mike Leach is a perfect coach for that. Is it something that can be sustained?
Well, Rob, that's the interesting question. I think it can this week against Arkansas. I think it's lost 20 consecutive SEC games. I don't think there's any doubt there. I mean, you look at Joe Moorhead, as bad as those offenses were the last 2 years, they scored 54 and 52 against Arkansas. But the amazing thing when you really start to break down this game, and I'm sure you watched it 2:30 this past Saturday on CBS, Costello throws an early pick six. They were -2 in turnovers, 4 total turnovers. They had 7 penalties. They rushed for 9 yards. They're a 15.5-point underdog, and they win by double digits to a team that was maybe the greatest in the history of college football last year. I mean, just completely insane. And as good as this offense was, with Costello going for an SEC record 623 yards through the air, the defense had 7 sacks and held LSU to 80 yards on the ground. So the defense was almost as dominant as the offense.
Yeah, it was impressive.
Hey, Lance, let me ask you about, because this is where you are, let me ask you about Alabama. I was shocked they took the foot off the gas as early as they did against Missouri and did not end up covering.
Well, me too, Roser, because I had Alabama minus 29.
I went actually on Thursday, and I got him at 27. But I also had the first half line, too, I think I got the first half line at 15.5. Is that something we're going to – if he's going to do this and take the foot off the gas early in the second half on some of these teams, does it seem like the first half line is going to have to be the way to go on them?
Yeah, I don't know what Vegas is going to do about first half lines with Alabama, because going back to last year, I mean, it was almost Groundhog Day where you'd look up and either Devontae Smith or Ruggs or Judy or Waddle would be, streaking for a touchdown in the first minute, and Alabama was up almost every game 28 or 35-0.
Yeah.
And it was really the same in Columbia Saturday night, up 28-3, and I just don't know how much you can inflate these first-half numbers. I'm with you. I was a little surprised. I mean, a couple of things. I don't think Bryce Young looked great. That offensive line, once Alex Leatherwood went out, was totally different. And I give Missouri a little bit of credit. They made some adjustments. I thought they tackled extremely well. I thought Drinkwitz and, their 63 scholarship players, I thought they were going to be way overmatched. I thought Alabama would win this game by, 40-plus. But there were some defensive breakdowns in that fourth quarter for Alabama. I don't know. I mean, I do think that Alabama is going to continue to try to get Bryce Young, try to get him reps, and I think they're going to try to get him some first-team reps. And Alabama's so deep with, so many weapons. When you look at running backs like Brian Robinson and Trey Sanders, who weren't good on Saturday night, those guys have got a ton of talent. So, and I think moving forward, Alabama, will be able to score some points in the second half. I just think this was just kind of a weird week one.
It was a weird week one, and I ask you this question: who's good? I mean, I think Alabama showed they're really good, at least in that first half. But who impressed you last week?
Well, I think Florida did. Florida's defense a little concerning. Matt Corral, put up some big numbers. Elijah Moore looks like one of the better wide receivers in college football. He looks to be a weapon for Lane Kiffin this year. I'll tell you this: Lane Kiffin did not look at any defensive tape. Didn't care. Hey, look, we're going to go out there and score points. If the other team scores 100, so be it. But I mean, Florida's offense with Kyle Trask, going 30 of 42 for over 400, 6 touchdowns, no picks. Kyle Pitts is just a complete matchup nightmare. But 10 yards per pass, 7 yards per rush. I was blown away with Florida, how good they looked offensively. And you start to look at that schedule, and really Georgia, and how inept they looked offensively, at least in the first half. Florida looks like a team that could easily go 10-0 in the regular season. So I think Florida's really good. I think Georgia, with their defense, they're going to be good. Tennessee didn't really impress me with that 4-point win over South Carolina. A&M, I mean, I have no idea what's going on year 3 under Jimbo Fisher. I feel really good about saying this. Alabama and Florida are good.
Yeah.
I think Auburn and Georgia are going to be good, but I don't know how good.
Yeah, Jimbo Fisher, because I was talking to Rob about this before we started today. Jimbo Fisher is known as he's kind of a quarterback whisperer, He's great with quarterbacks.
When's he going to start?
And Kellen Mond has gotten worse every year under him, it seems like.
Yeah, well, I made this comparison, Roser, and I don't think anybody gets it because maybe I'm dating myself. Reggie Ball at Georgia Tech. When I first saw Reggie Ball play, and I think it was with Chan Gailey, and I think Calvin Johnson was even there. I thought Reggie Ball, as a true freshman, I was like, man, this guy's going to be a baller. And then he got a little bit worse every single year. And I think we're seeing the exact same thing with Kellen Mond, and I agree with you. I mean, everybody said that about Jimbo, and I think it was more that, you had some of these busts that came out of Florida State that were good quarterbacks. They weren't great, and they were first-round guys. It started with Christian Ponder, I think.
Yeah.
And, the only guy that he had that was legitimate, a generational talent, was Jameis Winston en route to winning that national championship. But you're sitting here in year 3, and if you watch that game Saturday night, it's like A&M did everything they could to give Vanderbilt a win.
Yeah.
Even trying to run out the clock, the 4th and 1, fumbling the ball there. And for Vanderbilt to keep that thing within a possession, to lose by 5 with a true freshman quarterback and Ken Sills and 0 offense, this is disturbing. And this isn't year 1. This is year 3. And great coaches make that jump typically from year 1 to year 2. And they've got the resources, the ability to recruit. I've never been a Jimbo Fisher fan, and I don't know what's going on in year 3, but with their schedule right now, to me, best case looks 5-5.
Lance, talking about guys going from year 1 and maybe not improving over the course of their careers. Auburn, we saw Bo Nix come out as a true freshman and look good last season, and then I don't know. The Kentucky game was kind of, we were talking about it earlier. We were all kind of. What did you take away from that Auburn performance in week 1?
Auburn fans are upset with me because I've said it for a year plus now that Bo Nix is an average quarterback. The good news is he doesn't turn the football over. I mean, now 218 consecutive attempts without an interception, second nationally to only Trevor Lawrence. But he's just not an accurate quarterback. And, a couple of problems with it. I mean, the good news for Bo Nix is he's got Seth Williams. Seth Williams is a flat-out stud that will be a star at the next level. He just doesn't have a complement on the other side, so he's going to be doubled all the time. But, Auburn's bread and butter, and I know it's a new offense, but Chad Morris has been running the football. And when Bo Nix is your leading rusher against Kentucky with only 34 yards, that's a problem. And I know a lot of people that didn't watch that game, they look at it, well, that was a 16-point win. It seemed comfortable. If you watch that game, into the first half, Kentucky scored a touchdown. The officials completely botched that. Yep. Kentucky gets in there. They go up a touchdown. I think the game is completely different. Maybe I'm bitter again because I had Kentucky plus the 6.5. But, to answer your question, I think Bo Nix is an average quarterback. He's going to have an opportunity this week on the road against a really good defense in Georgia. I just don't know how many weapons outside of Seth Williams Auburn has, and, that's going to be a detriment to Bo Nix because the offensive line is patchwork. It's been put back together. It looked pretty good against Kentucky. I don't know how long it holds up, though.
Yeah, Auburn and Georgia meeting this week, and neither team looked good in the first half last week and played much better, pulled away in the second half. Georgia 6.5 in Athens this week.
This is, as we know, the Deep South's oldest rivalry. This will be number 125 between these two. And crazy thing is, Gus Malzahn is 2-6 against Auburn. He's had more success against Nick Saban. He's 3-4 against Saban. He just can't beat Georgia. And, they were down 21-0 last year. It seemed like it was going to be a bloodbath. They were able to come back. They scored 14 late. They had the ball with an opportunity to tie that thing up, and they ended up ultimately losing 21-14. Georgia, I can't get a feel because I don't know what's going on at quarterback. Because, I talked to somebody that was close to the Georgia program today. They don't believe that JT Daniels is going to start this Saturday. I don't understand what's going on there. We know DeJuan Mathis seemed overwhelmed and looked terrible against Arkansas. Stetson Bennett, got it corrected and seemed to kind of get into a groove. But Stetson Bennett doesn't strike me as a quarterback that's going to beat an Auburn defense. And if you come out and you medically clear JT Daniels, why would you not play him? If JT Daniels does play, maybe Todd Monken's able to open up this offense a little bit. Right now, if JT Daniels is playing, I like Georgia minus the 6.5. If he's not, I'm probably going to sit this one out.
Yeah. The other one, we talked about Texas A&M and them taking on Alabama this week. Mississippi State, it feels like you couldn't put a line big enough after week 1 against Arkansas. It feels the same way with Alabama. The way A&M played last week, can you get a line big enough? Just 17.5 for Alabama against A&M.
I wonder if people look at this in the top 25 matchup and they're like, you can't go any higher than 17.5. I agree with you, Rob. It doesn't seem like enough. I mean, Saban's 19-0 against his former assistants, and 17 of those wins by double digits. A&M won that first meeting with Johnny Manziel back in 2012 as these two as SEC rivals. But since then, Bama's won 7 straight, and they've won their last 3 in Tuscaloosa by an average of 46-17. Based on the two teams that I saw this past Saturday, I think it's more like that 46-17 score. I don't think you can get this number high enough. Texas A&M absolutely showed me nothing, and I think Alabama is going to go out there, and I think they're going to name their score.
In the NFL this week, Kansas City coming off an impressive performance against the Baltimore Ravens on Monday night. They got New England at home this week. It's starting to feel like Kansas City. Just go ahead and play Kansas City every week, and you'll end up ahead at the end of the year.
Yeah, you guys know I'm transparent. I had Baltimore on Monday night, so I went to bed early.
Yeah.
That's just, when Lamar Jackson said it, they're our kryptonite. 21-1 against everybody else, and he's 0-3 against Kansas City.
That's amazing.
It really is, and this is another amazing number for you guys. Since the Patriots won their first Super Bowl in 2001, and unfortunately I was there watching my Rams, and I never thought that game was in doubt for whatever reason until, the kick goes up and Vinatieri puts it through and they win Super Bowl 36. But since that Super Bowl win, the Patriots have only been 7+ point underdogs 3 times in 14 years in the NFL. That is insane, and obviously they're catching 7 here. You look at the Chiefs, they've won 12 straight games. They're 11-1 against the number during that stretch. This has been a nice story with Cam Newton. I unfortunately had the Raiders this past weekend against Cam. Didn't get home on that. But I like Kansas City in this spot. If I can get Kansas City against what I believe is a good but not great team at home at 7 or less, I'm taking it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Lance'sLock.com. What can folks get when they go there?
They can get everything. We've got 5 plays up as we're talking today with the Major League Baseball playoffs. I mean, this is a slew of activity. The NBA Finals tonight. And,
go
if
Heat.
you go back over the last...
Go Heat!
I'm a Lakers guy, but I just found it so difficult over the last couple of years to pull for LeBron James. So, it's just, I don't know. I'm just in a torn spot because I called the Heat a couple of weeks ago to win the NBA Finals. I will say that I do like the Heat in Game 1. But what you get, 15-8 over the last 3 college football Saturdays. I was 4-3 last Sunday in the NFL. We're going to win for you. Year 6. We've never had a losing football season. But again, you get everything. It's only $90 a month, $3 a day. Really simple. Just go to lanceslot.com. All major credit cards. Try us out for a month. We'll give you a free play every day. lanceslot.com.
Picks every single day. Lance, always a pleasure, man. We appreciate it. We'll talk next week.
Yeah. See you guys.
All right, Lance Taylor joining us again. That's lanceslocka.com. Check that out, and you can check him out on the Roundtable, the host of the Roundtable on WJOX in Birmingham. Week 4 of the National Football League this week. Big tilt between the Titans and the Steelers, 2 undefeated teams.
No,
if we play.
Yeah.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Well,
not Sunday.
The good thing
Monday,
is,
Tuesday.
The good thing is it was only like 3 Titans players and then like 5 staff members.
Yeah.
And nobody from the Vikings tested positive. So that's big. Nobody for the Vikings. Nobody for the Vikings. Stop being negative, dude.
I'm just saying.
We want to play freaking football. Let's play football.
Yeah.
We're going to get the Titans and
COVID,
Steelers.
Lang.
We're going to get the Titans and Steelers on Monday night.
Nah. Tuesday night. Tuesday night.
I love
football.
Tuesday
You
night.
You don't want to watch what's going to be on Monday night. I can tell you right now.
I want some action on Tuesday night and some NFL on Tuesday night. That'd be great.
We can all take Monday nights the Falcons Packers. Nobody's going to. Yeah.
Pittsburgh, Tennessee. The total has gone over in 6 of Pittsburgh's last 7 games when on the road against the Titans. Titans are 3-0 with 3 game-winning kicks from Stephen Gostkowski. Mike Vrabel, head coach of the Titans, talking about his team being resilient.
It's very encouraging to be a part of a football team that's not a bunch of front runners that pack up and complain and start pointing fingers when things don't go right, because they don't, especially in this league and especially in life. And, to come up here and win a game, we're happy. We're excited. We're going to enjoy it, and we're going to improve, and we're going to get better in all 3 phases and in our coaching staff.
There you go. Going to get better, those Tennessee Titans. I think the Titans have been
they're a solid team.
Impressive enough.
Yeah, they're
in
solid
these 3
team.
weeks.
They're a solid team.
Yeah, and they've been resilient. They've been impressive. They're 3-0. A lot of teams at 3-0. Who are your top 3 in the NFL so far, Lang?
Chiefs are the best, clearly.
Yeah.
And then I would say Steelers, Seahawks, maybe. I mean, you could also. I think Packers are probably in that conversation.
Yeah, I would say I would go Kansas City, and then you could still say Baltimore's in there too. Kansas City's just that awesome. But I also think when it comes playoff time, I think Pittsburgh will be better than Baltimore. Kansas City, Pittsburgh, and I'll say Green Bay.
I go Kansas.
Aaron Rodgers having a hell of a year so far.
I go Kansas City, Seattle, Green Bay. Russell Wilson talking about hell of a year.
This is my only thing with Seattle besides that I hate them. But I have mad respect for Russell Wilson, and he's been insane. But one thing we are forgetting about, their defense has given up the first team in NFL history to allow 1,200 passing yards through your first 3 games. That defense is not good at all. And that's why I don't have them in the top 3.
Last week I had unders for you, John. This week I got overs for you in the NFL.
Overs are what's been hitting in the NFL.
A lot of trends. Pittsburgh, Tennessee over. Cleveland, Dallas. Total's gone over in 5 of Cleveland's last 7. Total's gone over in 4 of Dallas's last 5 at home. New Orleans, Detroit, over. 7 of Detroit's last 8 at home have gone over. 4 of the last 5 head-to-head have gone over. Arizona, Carolina, over. These 2 teams, when they've met, 5 of the last 6 have gone over. Carolina's 6 of their last 7 at home have gone over. Chargers, Tampa, over. 7 of their last 8 meetings have gone over. Tampa, 7 of their last 8 at home have gone over. Buffalo, Las Vegas, over. 5 of the last 5 these 2 teams have played have gone over. New England, Kansas City, over. 5 of the last 6 when they've played together have gone over. And Philadelphia, San Francisco, over as well. Total's gone over in 4 of the last 5 at home against Philadelphia for San Francisco, and Philadelphia's last 5 on the road also have gone over. A lot of overs.
I saw that this week in the NFL is one of the, if you average up the totals, all the over-unders for the week, it's like one of the highest ever. It's like the average total is like 49.6 or something.
It's over week in the NFL.
Well, because overs have been hitting. So I think you might be able to catch some unders here because Vegas may just be overinflating these.
Yeah.
And because the overs have been hitting, people are going to bet them up too.
That's right. All right, let's take a break here on The Odds Couple. When we come back, we got our picks and more SEC trends to get to as well. It's The Odds Couple here on Grind City Media.
Hey, yo, Happy Friday. It's time to rise and grind. I'm Jessica Benson.
Did you say heyo, heyo?
Heyo, heyo.
I'm Megan
It's a Friday.
Triplett.
Come
Yes.
on. We have a big show lined up for you today. We've got all sorts of things to talk about within the NBA bubble, NFL updates, college football updates.
We got to get to some pop culture news. It's the music, the entertainment, everything going on.
All the stories to get you through today and into your weekend.
Rise and Grind with Jessica and Megan. Live daily at 8 a.m. on grindcitymedia.com.
In everything we do, defensive activity, offensive execution, play together, have an edge about us. Just play with an edge. Play with an edge and play together.
Durant, blocked for Jaren, blocked by James. Dylan Brooks with authority. Tyus Jones to Brandon Clark. A turn and gun. He got it. Jones for three. Jones blocked by Jaren.
Yeah, stay together, Blue, stay together. Way to roll me, kid. Let's leave it out there.
Ja Morant with elevation.
Once a week, get your basketball fix with Talkin' Grizz featuring me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, and media from around the NBA as we discuss draft topics, prospects, and more. Connect with Grind City Media on all their social channels, subscribe to Grind City Media YouTube, and follow Grind City Media on Twitter and Instagram to stay up to date with all things Grizzlies.
Welcome back to The Odds Couple on grindcitymedia.com. Live from FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio. Here's The Odds Couple, Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Hey, get your daily sports, pop culture, and Grizz fix with insider news and commentary on all things sports and more with the Chris Vernon Show. Now live at noon daily, Monday through Friday. Tune in to grindcitymedia.com, Grind City Media on YouTube, or via the official Grizzlies mobile app. To catch Chris live or download each episode daily and subscribe at iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud today. Welcome back to The Odds Couple here on Grind City Media. Alabama hosting a top 10 matchup this week as they take on Texas A&M. Alabama, 17-point favorite, total at 51.5.
Roll Tide.
In this ball game, Roll Tide. Nick Saban, as always, his team looked good last week. A&M did not. But Nick Saban says it's about us getting better.
You know, after first games, you find out who you are, where you are, what you have to do to get better. So the big focus is on what do we have to do to get better. And I think improvement is a word that we use a lot. And hopefully we'll be able to get a lot of players to make a significant amount of improvement this week so that we can play better. We're certainly, looking forward to home opener, Saturday. So it'd be great to bring football back to Tuscaloosa, play in Bryant-Denny Stadium. So we're certainly looking forward to that.
Yeah.
He's ready.
Bringing football back to Bryant-Denny.
Didn't he sound fired up? Right?
Roll Tide.
Energized.
A&M's gone under the total in 5 straight games, under in 5 straight road games as well. The total's 51.5. Alabama's won 7 straight against A&M by an average score of 43-21.
Yep.
Take the Tide. Mizzou at Tennessee. Volunteers 11.5-point favorite, total at 48.5. Tennessee's covered 7 of their last 9 games. And South Carolina's at Florida. Florida an 18.5-point favorite, total in that one 57.5. South Carolina's 9-3 against the spread on the road. John Roser on grass. On road grass, 9-3 against the spread for South Carolina. Head-to-head, the last 3 have gone over for Florida, South Carolina, that total of 57.
Who has turf these days?
I have no idea. Well, synthetic stuff.
What do they have? What do they have in Florida?
They got grass, natural grass. Yeah. So
the stadium caught fire like a couple weeks ago.
Well,
I didn't know if that was the fake grass.
Could have been the fake grass. Time for our picks for this week. We'll start with Fish's 5. My 5 picks. I'm taking underdog SMU at home just because they've played some games. They are, as Ryan Silverfield said, clicking on all cylinders. Yeah. I'm going to take SMU and that small number getting points at home against Memphis. I expect Memphis to be a little rusty. Love Alabama. I like Georgia. Georgia's had great success in Athens against Auburn. I love the Chiefs week in and week out. I'll take the Raiders plus the 3 against Buffalo. Raiders played really well at home against New Orleans.
Yeah.
I expect that again against Buffalo. And I guess I just keep expecting Buffalo to not be undefeated and do something wrong. Sorry, CJ, but I'm just expecting that from Buffalo. Lang?
I'm going with Memphis. I think they're going to be rusty also, and I think they're not going to be as good as they were a couple weeks ago, but they're playing SMU, and I think they can beat them by more than 2.5 points.
They have. They've owned SMU here recently.
I also am going to go with Bama, Georgia, KC, and the Raiders.
The Raiders.
So, same as you.
Roser?
I'm taking SMU, and I think you can take SMU. I think sprinkle the money line on that. Probably not going to be much because it's only 2.5.
Right.
I'll go Alabama against A&M. Just because I have no idea about Georgia's quarterback situation, I'm going to go with Auburn. I'll probably regret that because Georgia's defense is so good.
Yeah.
I'll take New England plus the points. It's a touchdown. I'll take it. Again, you're playing Patrick Mahomes. I'm probably going to regret it. And then I'll go with the Raiders plus the 3 against Buffalo. And I might regret that one too. I do not love the lines this week in college and the NFL. I don't like any of them really.
CJ?
Give me SMU. I think having 3 weeks off middle of the season or right at the start of the season is really going to hurt Memphis. Give me Alabama over A&M and the line 17.5. Give me UGA. One of the things with Bo Nix last year was that offensive line, maybe the best in the nation, second best behind Oregon. Like, that was a really good offensive line. They lost all of that line.
Yeah.
And now Bo Nix has to make decisions and make them quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if he can do that quite yet. So give me Auburn in that one. I flip-flopped last week, I had the Chiefs and then took the Ravens. I'm not going to do that again. I'm just going to roll with the Chiefs there. And I can't believe when we decided to name our top 3 NFL teams, nobody said Buffalo.
Sorry.
Get out of here. Josh Allen, MVP, baby. Let's get it.
Josh Allen is not going to win
yes,
MVP.
You say that.
Russell Wilson's going to win MVP.
400-something yards a game. Yes, he is.
Russell Wilson's going to win MVP, and he should have won it last year,
because
too.
Everybody's talking about Russell Wilson never winning MVP.
Yes, Russell Wilson's going to get the career achievement thing this year.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is also right there behind him, too.
Yeah.
Right there behind Josh Allen. Absolutely. Both of them right there. Runners up.
CJ, who you taking off the board this week?
Off the board, anchor down, baby.
Anchor
Vandy,
down.
baby.
Oh.
Let's get it going.
Getting 20.
Let's go. Plus 20. Let's go doors. And New Orleans, they're playing the Lions. Like, give me that. Let's go.
Roser?
I'm going to take Alabama. It's now 10. Alabama minus 10 in the first half against Texas A&M. I think Alabama will probably be up like 28-3 at halftime again.
And might not cover the game.
Yeah, right. So I think the first half is the way to go on Alabama. I'm going to roll with the Detroit Lions. I don't think the Lions are as bad as everybody thinks they are. They should have won week 1. They had an epic collapse down the stretch. They should be a 2-1 football team. They had a lead in week 2 also. They could be a 3-0 team right now. I'm going to take the Lions. Haven't been impressed with the Saints. I'll take the Lions plus the 4.
Lang?
I'm going with UNC. They're playing Boston College. Big line here, 13. But I think UNC is one of those teams, like, nobody pays attention to them. They're in the ACC and they're not Clemson. I think they're a really, really good team. Their quarterback's good, Howell. Like, they're going to be a team that I think puts up a lot of points all season long. I'm taking them. And then Oklahoma. They may or may not have messed up some parlays this week for a few people, but I feel like this is a good bounce back week for them. They're playing Iowa State, and it's only 7.5 points, so I'll go with Oklahoma.
Man, you could have, if you had a round robin last week in college football, you could have had some. You could have really, if you would have had Kansas State and Mississippi State in there. I mean, you could have been looking at some big payouts.
Yeah. I'm going with Mississippi State. I mean, just what they showed last week. How can they not do that to Arkansas? Would be shocking to me. So I'll go with the Bullies minus 17.5. And in the NFL, I'm going to go with the Houston Texans, who are handed the worst schedule you could ever have in the NFL. This week they're at home taking on Minnesota. Scares me a little bit because Minnesota has to play desperate football after starting 0-3, but they've been a mess. And Houston, they've been battle-tested. And now being at home this week against Minnesota, I'll go with the Texans minus the 3.5 in the NFL this week.
I'm actually with you. I'm nervous about Sunday night. Niners and Eagles. And I messed up. I believe in karma, and I talked crap about Philadelphia on Twitter last night. I know it's going to, and I have talked crap about Carson Wentz.
Nothing good happens in Philadelphia, right? Isn't that right?
And I said, that's what I tweeted. I was like, he is right. Trump is right. Like, a lot of bad stuff happens in Philadelphia. Like, the Eagles choosing Carson Wentz over Nick Foles. I know that's going to come back to bite me in the ass Sunday night. It 100%.
Rosa, you talk crap about everybody, though.
Yeah, he does.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
All right, that's going to do it for us here this week on The Odds Couple. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy all the action this weekend as the SEC. Another full weekend of SEC football. Memphis Tigers back in action this weekend, traveling to SMU, we think. Full slate in the NFL. May even extend into Tuesday with the Titans and the Steelers this week. Who knows there? Enjoy all the action this weekend. We'll be back with you again next week for another edition of The Odds Couple. For CJ, Roser, Lang, Kimball, I'm Rob. Thanks for joining us. Talk to you next week here on Grind City Media.
You've been listening to The Odds Couple from the American Home Shield Studio on GrindCityMedia.com. Tune in next week for more football handicapping with Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.